Okay, so I'm going to post this as far as I've gotten so far on this limit system. The British pound is melting down. It's giving back all that wonderful upthrust. And we just took out this low on the 4 hours, so I'm buying into this on limits. That's 10 pips every mark here. These last all day. So I made this so you're buying every pip in a 10 pip range. Wherever you drop this mouse is going to be your first buy. So below the 50-yard line here, or the 100, I'm just going to start stacking in, I don't know, 200K. So these last all day. These are the day drops. Inside of here, you have the trade management at the top. This would be set so that it's hard to accidentally hit one of these, because now you got to open this up again. So it's kind of like you're sure you want to do that system. Then below we have the, but these two actually are active. This is if you think you put too many tickets in, you can take this over and pluck off a ticket. So this stack of inventory, this supply and demand trading. Or this is market maker system. Pure limits all day long. And this is roughly the dollar amount. It needs to be adjusted. So here, this has been adjusted. And this is 25 pips stop, but it's 28, right, with a 3 pip spread. So I'm built in. This last number is the actual dollar risk. So you're saying I would risk, and you can get to pick the area. You don't have to. This is not a double click that's going to lay something in. So this is trading by hand, so to speak. So I'm in about 40K right now. And this view of the market is just based on the fact that we've been dropping. We dropped 100 pips in the past 8 hours. And that, on the British pound, that's a typical move. On the euro, not so much, because the euro doesn't have that much drama to it. It's not capable of those moves. So if you trade the pound, you got to know that if you're going to sell new highs up here, which you kind of have to if you're a limit trader, because you just keep putting your limits up in here. And now you could put in a 20K in a 20 pip zone just by dropping them. And this broker is going to let me trade like psycho amounts. They will reach a limit, but I have to come up here and prune these tickets. There's no way they're going to take it up here and fill the sell limit now. And everything on the chart is entry only. There is no stop showing. So all the blue, you know their limits because you're a limit trader. So here I would say, okay, let's just buy this if it pulls back 10 pips. I'm risking about 13 bucks to make $3. But I could probably make my $3, right? I can sustain that kind of move. This is the 4-hour chart, and you know, once you're trading the 4-hour chart, you realize, okay, if the market drops into this window on the 4-hour chart, and the loneliest wick has to be, it's kind of hard to see, but trust me, it's here. This is the lonely wick. If you're buying below that, your buy window is 50 pips. That's a tremendous amount of money if you bought a standard lot on every handle. And I get that. How about, can we have a riot for traders? A trader's riot. Our demand list. But this is the whole problem, is this move is so huge. And granted, if you're selling into that, like if you realize at this point, just in the crudest sense, and it's very crude, that you're just going to say, well, this is a hell of a move. Like if you just woke up and you see the market here and you go, I'm selling at the market, which I don't have in here, but I'm going to add this to the top. Under trade management, I'm going to have a stem that comes off of here and says, because you're in the day file, I think it should be a 50 pip stop and a 30 pip stop. You're just not going to pull that trigger too often because you may not think $3 is a lot of money, but you do it 10. It's almost $30 if you hit it 10 times. So if you get excited about a trade, which I did on this account, I've been able to take this account up to like 13,000 because I made $3,000 getting in without a stop on a 16K because that's as fast as I could get the thing to go up to that amount because I got in right here at the top before the other top yesterday when the news came out and everybody's like, well, that was the news from FXCM, don't you? I mean, that was the news from the FOMC or whatever they're talking or somebody said something. But everybody had to know that if they went up there, it was higher price than down here. So chasing it and waiting for confirmation is not always a good idea. Now this limit system is probably the most highly disciplined trade system, manual trading. So this is you're just trading for pips. If it goes lower, I'm buying. That's all there is to it. If it goes higher, I'm selling, but I got to start pruning off the top of this. And this, I guess, is the laborious part. But what else are you going to do? If you're sitting there babysitting the market because you do have your finger on the market orders and you can say, oh, you know what, up here, boom, 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 boom. And you can have I'm not going to do it because my phone keeps putting on trades. And so it's set to 1K. So the MT4 Android problem is, I'm like, I hear that, so I have the door slam sound in there. I'm like, fuck. What the fuck? And I have to run to the laptop and put a stop and take profit on it because there's no, I don't know how to set it up. I don't know if there's a one-click setting, like it accepts the last setting and holds that. I don't know. I haven't experimented because I just don't want to trade on that thing. I feel like I've got a gun without the safety on it. I don't want to be doing that. Oh, I'm in some fucking crazy trade. I didn't accidentally touch the phone, and all of a sudden I'm in some stupid trade. Like and the market's so wily, so crazy. And this kind of trading is nuts. This thing dropped 150 pips off the top of that. Now that's the engulf. Now the British pound is brutal. Huge market maker, or what do you call it, range trader's dream. The limits are designed for range traders. The market orders, granted, I'd be buying at the market right here if I wasn't already in, and not only in, but potential all day long to fill this whole rack on the pound, which would be a glorious trade. Because it would mean that we were buying below the floor here, which you always want to stack up as much as you can if it closes below that. Because the top of that rectangle is your exit. This is $28 to make $33. Not a bad trade. Can you even make those many pips? Now, in the pounds, you could do it. 36 pips? Oh. If it comes down here, so put that 10K, you can see the exit. The exit's not even a possibility until hours later. But if it ever makes it down here, so the same trade, every time you drop one of these, that's why you want a demo to make sure you're not putting a stupid trade in. Let's take this. Now, this is not the best money in the world. This is risk. $33 to make $11. Which will probably make your $11. You got a 30 pip stop to make 14 pips. If I put that down here all day long, look at my exit. That's a dead cat bounce trade. I got to make that trade. Right? So I come in first with the bad trades. I'm risking $60. Every time I drop this, it's $30. Now I got to tell you, they may not fill these, but this is the hydroxychloroquine trade. You know, this may not happen, but give it a shot. Right? Give it a fucking shot. And you can't see, unfortunately, I got bad colors. Let me pick a color. You can't see the wicks because you got the wrong. So the color scheme, it's nothing to, I wish it was better situation. So I suppose that's sarcasm, the comment about the color scheme. But no, it's brutal because Windows 10 doesn't allow you any color adjustments. They're just assholes about it. It's just, they strip that out. I can try to get something close so it doesn't disturb my... that'll have to do. So we got, now we can see the wicks at least. So it's all about the wicks and the 4-hour chart, since we know exactly when it updates, which, so you got an hour and 40 minutes till the next update in the 4-hour chart. And so you have to ask yourself, as you look at the 4-hour line chart, forget the wicks, you're like, well, that's quite a move. And of course, selling in the trap here didn't make the kind of money that you would. So you're looking for that big collapse. You had to go up into here. People scalped to the floor. In fact, this whole time up here. So in this account yesterday, I made $1,000, and all I did was place sell limits above, buy limits below. Same thing here now. Unfortunately, you know, this may be going in an uptrend for your view, but you could make so much money range trading it that you got to ask yourself, why would you want to be a trend trader? Wouldn't you just rather be in the market for 4 hours or 8 hours and make way more money than just be done with it? Just be like, and waiting to get filled on another rack of limits? Or would you rather be holding a position for 2 months and make 10 grand? Some people would. That's not going to be me. So I don't have that view of it because it's too much stress to ride up. I'm up 3,000. I'm down 3,000. Why not just make 1,000? I don't think people really think about that part of trading. So they have these algorithms they write, these rhythms of algo, and then they say, yeah, this is my system. This is what yeah, okay. Until you actually have to ride that trade. So yeah, the trades that the Ryan bot's getting into, stacking into the, like this thing, you're buying into the plunge. Well, why not just place the limits down there and catch a falling knife? So this is clean this way because there's no market orders in this these files yet. But hey, you know, it's a bottomless pit. So down here, the best part about this is it's where you drop it. So I can trade a 36 pip range. I can risk $53 to make. Now I would suggest that if you stay on a 10K for everything you trade, I could make another subfolder that says 10Ks. So you know when you go in there, it's 10K. So that is another bottomless pit, but it's all how you organize it because you got to get access to this thing. So you may have this view that this is a buying opportunity, but I'm looking at it like I'm up on this trade. My worst entry is up here on some real canvassed out rack of tickets. So this whole thing here, I could cash out right now. It's 20 pips. British pound. What can you say? And look at this. Look at this supply zone here, so to speak. Well, it goes all the way down. So, but I got limits to here. I'm in this now. I can look at the clock. As soon as we reach the bottom of the hour, now I can go to the, because the clock is telling me which time frame I could trade. I go to the half hour or the 1 hour, and I go, well, shit, the scalper's getting out right now. We're coming back up to the floor of the 1 hour, right? So the 4 hour, whole different view. The 1 hour is like, you can still see that zone. You can still see this. So this will be a big scalper's dream, right? The London Open here. We could go ripping up, but I would say if you're going to go to the 1 hour chart, you know you got to get out on something right now, which I'm not because I'm not in big enough to do that. So the size that I find myself in, because I can't know how far they're going to drive this down. I can also go to the, so if you're sitting here watching this happen, it's different than if you set it and forget it and you just bought every 10 pips a 1K and you risked $20 risk. Can you handle 20 bucks? Now, if you did a daily and then you put maybe the exact same price, you layer on top of that the 8 hour. So you go to the, or 4 hours. This is my 4 hours, and then here is my, I duplicated this so that you can just look at it like this and you can get to these. The trade management's built into every time frame there, so you got profit per symbol. Close the ticket. You don't want this ticket down here. Now here's where you get the maintenance factor. Is you're going to have to come up to the top of this because your broker is going to probably reach a limit. These tickets are nonsense. So wherever I drop this, it's going to pluck off the closest to that. And you can see I've got probably 300 tickets up here, 301Ks. So this is my style of trading for the most part. I would get into the market if, like right now, if I didn't think I was in big enough. I might buy, but I really want to scalp out and then just keep dropping that same ticket. Right, so I want to go flat. Is half the time I want to be flat because I want to just trade the wick and dump. Like this 1 hour chart, as soon as we went into that new low, if you put in the 10, in a 10 pip zone, you put in a 10K. Right? And you had bad ratios to make it to the floor of that rectangle. So inside of there, you grab that, you dump. What if you had 20K there? And you dump, and then some of them have extended targets and some have glorious targets. And if you could wake up a few hours later and realize, well, time-wise, that support or this pivot, I saw some guy post a video, pivots and how to trade them. Well, I mean, I guess you can see that's the pivot, but there's a million pivots. There's a pivot every 10 pips. But time-wise, when it comes back to the floor, the wicks don't matter. It's all about this double top, double bottom, single top. So this was also the loneliest wick. And they finally crashed that. But somebody bought it. They bought it all the way to here, and halfway through that, they made their dead cat bounce trades. 30 pips. British pound. You got to put wide orders in. Think 50 pip stops, 25 pip stops. The euro, you can go 12 pip stops and 20 pip stops, and the spread's tighter, and you can do a little smoother ride. British pound is I put them in yesterday. I actually ran these, and I think it was $1,100. Just put them above and below, just like now. These are still sell limits up here. As I trim this down, I mean, the logical thing to do is start to trim out the most unfillable trades. Of course, it could come rocketing back up and then slice back, and you can't see my take profits, only my entries. But I think this is a good style for people that don't want to babysit the market, because here you're just going to say, well, if it goes up there, who's not selling? If it looks too dense here now, I could also just drop it right there and cut back on this density of tickets, but I'm not going to, because these are all ridiculous prices right now. That's just fantasy trading. That's impossible. We're not going up there in the next hour. Can we all? Maybe we could. I don't know. Look, this is Federal Open Market Committee bullshit. And then people say stuff, and, you know. But look at this entry, 10 pip window. Kablamo. And that's the trade that I got into. I got stopped out of some, but I just had these daily drops with the extended targets. So I had I'll make 36, and I got to come up with some 40s and 50s. And right now, this is kind of a hodgepodge, I would say. This is not some perfect. Although here's some big, I did lay these in also. These are the logarithmic ones. So you have about 2 pips apart on the bottom of this. And this is probably the most, the best ratio is risk of 40 to make 60 pips. $12 to make 18, because it's only a 3K living in a 20 pip window. So if I put it down here, I mean, you got $12 to make 18. Most people would. Oh, I'll risk $12. Really? So to make this more juicy, you just keep stacking this like this. So it's very like painting the chart with entries. But this is like this. No market orders on this in the past. So this pure limit system. I am getting out of the market though. So I'm going to cash out if I see that we're going to come up to here and I'm up enough money to think, well, gosh, $50 to make $20 using $50 of margin to make $50 in the morning. Especially if I think we could go ripping up. And if that's the case, if I'm here in front of the computer, I'm going to go for the 2-hour drops, which only have one of these. A 20 pip stop, a 10 pip window, a 6K, risking, let's say about, risking about 14 to make 10. I gotta adjust that. Would you sell up here in this 10 pip window in the British pound. This may be a little too close, but let's put it up on this deeper. Does that look like a good trade? I mean, these are 1Ks. Now, if it comes into this, if it sweeps into there, you could check it in 2 hours. Those tickets are going to disappear in 2 hours, so that's very critical, is the expiration times on these. If that lasted all day, I wouldn't do it. Because we could come all the way to here, and now that's going to be a dumbass place to get in. I'd rather put in a 8-hour tickets. You know, the market's going to close here. It's kind of like Friday. Thursday's like Friday in these markets. Sunday's like, you know, Monday. And so the pound has been, I would say for a trend trader, that regardless of your trend, in the past few days, and this is, I think, where people just freak out about swing trading, because, yeah, if you sold into the pound and it finally pulls back 150 pips off of that top. Well, you made 100 pips here, so counter trend trading is just range trading. Trend trading is range trading too, because you're supposed to buy pullbacks. So you're a range trader whether you like it or not. I mean, I don't know how people can deny the range traders making money. I guess this is where people would say, well, look at this. That's true, but this here, you have to understand that after you take this price out, okay, look out. And of course, not saying you can't trade at the market, and this is when you would probably have to go long if you could see this chart, which is the daily. Because when you take this out, look out. Yeah, the scalpers made this trade because that was the deepest supply, demand zone, whatever. When you try to sell into this, yeah, there's probably a trade in there. Let's see if I can scope out the event there. Okay, there's a trade in there of quite a few pips. And then it's like, look out. The next place you come to. So zooming out on the 4-hour, and you're going to find the most extreme price, which is this wick tip. You're selling from here up, how much ever money you have now. They're going to, this is the, you're going to lose on this trade because maybe on that's the 4-hour chart. So inside of this, there could be an exit on the 1-hour chart. So there it is. That's the trade. So you can say, oh, I put my limit, great trade, but how long did that last? And structurally, what happened there? So kind of have to dial into this world of trading. Now, this is if you're trading on a 1-hour basis, or you have an 8-hour buy limits that live here in this 30 pip window. And just like the trade we're in right now, structurally, you come down, make new lows, trapped in this shelf, rip up, people cash out, they're over it. But there's people holding on to that. You don't have to hold on to every trade. So this I'm ready to cash out. I'm going to cash out right now because it's a time it's a 1 hour, it's a dead cat bounce. I'm going to put in more tickets. So I'm going to lighten up the trade a little bit here, so I'm not going to spend too much more time in this trade. Maybe 5 more minutes we pop up a little bit. I'll consult the 15-minute chart. Okay. Yeah. Look at this 15-minute chart. Looks like a sell. Let's just scalp out. And I'll put in a 2-hour ticket. Now I can back down, especially if you just made money. You really don't want to if it's that easy to trade, you should be able to get right back in. Plus, look at all the exposure now. We could still go down. Now I could put in the 4-hour ticket. Let's just get in like this. Right, so now it's relaxed. There's not like, oh, what's the chance of that filling? Go to the 2-hour drop, which you only have one, but that should be enough for anybody. Once again, about $14 to make 10. 2 hours. We could retest. So we could retest this price on the 15. So yeah, if you're on the 4-hour, okay. But even the 4-hour guys are like, yeah, that's a 30 pip wick. Let's get out. This thing could melt down. What are they saying? The 1-hour guy's like, yeah, we sold right there. Every rally we sell on the 1 hour, we just went short. So I got out. For the scalp, I think I'm up. I'm underwater here. No, I'm up. I'm selling into the euro going up now. So this is another thing, is that I don't think these guys are correlated in any way, even though sometimes they're moving in concert. And the euro's not going to move as much, so I can come in with tighter stops. It's a different kind of volatility. It's like the Swiss franc. Now here I will put in all day long. I'm going to sell above that wick, so I just drop it right on top of there, and here's another sweet spot of supply, is anything between these two wicks up here. 4-hour look at the euro. I think the euro, if it goes up, I want to sell. I'm going to put in the bad ratios first. I'm going to go all day on these because this currency doesn't move that much. The British pound, I wouldn't be putting them in this tight. No way. Okay, let's go for a better ratio. And that's going to be up here because there's going to be a tighter stop and it's looking for a bigger pullback. So it's not too risky to put orders up here. We could go up here today. I don't know if there's news, jobs report, bullshit, whatever. I'm going to put in, try not to duplicate these, cover this area with a bad ratio, and then just fill this thing up. Now I'm going to put some really good ratios in, but you still have to wait to get paid on those. So you get paid quick on the tight take profits and tight stops. Here's 15 pips to make 15 pips. $18 to make 12 bucks. I think this is the middle of the road kind of ticket. Pip wise, it's break even. Okay, picking this one. Now you can put this on the favorites. Okay. Okay, I think I could just hit the delete key here. Okay, let me just start over. All right, let me just... So the favorites list. Now, this is where you get a little more organized. Okay, so we got that. That is our... And this way, you know, all day long you're going to risk that to make that, which my exit's going to be right where we're at now. Makes sense. We go up, we have a stop up here, comes back. It's as simple as that. And I'm making money on the short. So I got filled up here. I'm watching the equity go up. I know that how I'm making money right now. Now the pound, the problem with trading two currencies is if I go to the pound, I'm like, oh, do you think they filled that thing? Oh, look, I should have stayed in. But I'm not going to say that because I was up, and then I want to go trade the euro maybe. If you have this thing, so this no nonsense guy's like, well, if you're in this currency, you shouldn't be in that currency. I don't know. I mean, not with this system because you're just risking pips. Why not get in that one? I can't see restricting your trading like that. Would you put yourself in a torture chamber like that? You can only do this. So you gotta wait for the confirmation. So this looks like I want to sell into that on 2 hours now. So the pace of the market, I'm going to put 4 hours in. Yeah, let's start selling up there. And I may not wait for that target of 12. And I already got one here. I don't know if this is a daily or a 1 hour, but I don't want to duplicate the price. This is only a 6K. I guess I will duplicate it. Now, this is where I think you could get into trouble because if this is a daily, I guess the best thing to do would have a chart that's 4 hours and just strictly drop the 4-hour tickets there and leave the arrows. That's the problem with trading is that it's more than just saying, oh, I know this pattern. This is easy. It's like, okay, but like, is there is the volatility so high that you can't even trade with a 300 pip stop and not survive 4 hours of being in a trade? You know, markets are crazy like this. And then you've got to put your orders really far away and say, you know what? If they come up there, that's a logical thing to sell into that. And you're kind of counter trend trading. I mean, you're totally saying, when we get back into fair value, so to speak, if we get up, I'm selling into that. And you could justify it by taking your trusty, whatever drawing tool and put in your channel and say, well, of course, it's a downtrend. I'm selling multiple levels into that. Sure. I don't even think I'm filled on this one, but I'm ready to cash out of this one. So let's get out of this and try to go flat. I don't know what's up here. Let me just close all profits. If I can't see it, I just want to get out. So I'm up. Well, I'm only in 1K now. So we try to make $1,000 a day in this account. I don't know, roughly. That means I got to put in like maybe 2 standard lots. I lose 50K. So it's not hard to do. If you can drop 10Ks like this in key supply and demand zones, or key-ish, it doesn't matter. It's about timing, because if I put the 2 hours in this thing and I'm saying, I'm giving you 2 hours to get up there. If you don't make it in time, just like down here on this wick, and the euro dollar, you just trade bigger. You'd make the same amount of money here as you would on the pound. You just have to really trade really big. But the spread's tighter, so it's okay, and it's all good. You know, the market keeps waking up like this, and those are sells on limits. You're putting the limit orders in while the market's down here, so you're always selling high, buying low. I know it seems unbelievable to say stupid shit like that and say, yeah, but how does that work when you're buying this low with a 10 pip stop? Yeah, that's not going to work. You got to be able to afford to buy a 30 pip window on here. Now this would be maybe a 80 pip window at the same time this drama is going on. The drama in the other currency. So here you can get away with a 20 pip sell window, which on the pound that's got to be 50 pips. Even yesterday, you only had a risk here. That's quite a bit though, isn't it? Inside of that wick, there's probably on the 5-minute chart some perfect setup. People are saying, look, did you see that divergence on the 5-minute? So here's how crazy it is. It cuts into that window. It actually comes all the way back to here. Now this is what just fries people's brains. Here's FOMC. You got a buy limit sitting here. Now, I don't know if the spread was too wide to get filled there. I think that it didn't go to, And then it rips up to here. So this is the $1,000 because I had buy limits down here. Now, if you're watching that happen on the 5-minute, are you taking that trade? Are you going to wait for the end of this wick? Well, I'm waiting for an engulf confirmation. I bought here. I don't even know what you're talking about. I made money. Yeah, I bought right here in the breakout. So one man's breakout's another man's place to go the other way, obviously. I mean, I hope it's obvious. I don't know. It's hard to take. Now, it looks like a buy now. Look at this pullback on the 5 like it's going to go up. That's great because I got sell limits up there all day long. Look at this 5-minute chart. And this is kind of like when people take 15-minute charts, but you only need a line chart here. You can kind of see the wicks. Look at this constant ranging. I know it's going up. I understand it's going up. But look at all that money. Then you got it comes here, it goes up here, and then it rips back to here, and then it even goes back to here. Man, you got to be like quick straw McGraw. Now, this is the triple bottom that's supposed to become a top. Is that going to happen? I don't think so. I think we're going to maybe pop up here, but I'll sell that, and it's going to come back to here, and I'm out. So just placing all these tickets and managing all this risk that's potentially could fill. Yeah, if this thing goes like this, we're dead. If this market should take off like this, you probably could, I don't know, blow up the account. I don't know. If every trade you put in here is a bad ratio, and if you change time frames, it's going to change your whole view of what you think could happen. Go to the half hour and you're like, oh God, well, this is fucking Jesus Christ. Imagine a 20 period moving average on here. Probably looks something like this. Well, I'm a trend trader, see. How are you managing, if you're in any kind of size trying to make any kind of money, how are you managing this risk? I mean, this fluctuation. This 2 days of bullshit down pullback. Are you buying? Are there really Fibonacci handles in here, for God's sakes? Stop it with the Fibonacci's. Okay, we're cashing out here, right? If we bought below here, we're out. We don't need all this bullshit. If we bought below here, we're out. We're probably out on the first 10 pips. You do know that's the low of the day. Below that, yeah, when it comes down here, look at how frightening, and people cash out. It pulls back one more time on the 15 and then rips. Sure. Are you pulling the trigger on 5 standard lots there? Are you that guy that babysat this? Come back to the floor, bounce back, sellers come in, but they fail. Sellers come in on the 15, they fail. 15-minute chart, you Dude, you got to pull the trigger right there on the 15. Just like right now, you would have had to buy 15 minutes ago. So it depends on your lifestyle. The facts don't change because I guess the trading, I'm seeing I don't know who these people are that think they can have something for nothing. The rioters, the looters, I mean, these spoiled brats, basically. People are so fucking wealthy that you can go to a drive-through and have somebody toast stuff in a high-tech oven, more high-tech than most stuff. People are just spoiled brats, you know. Look, you could do whatever you want. Now, the trading thing is an immense amount of, territory. And because it's a chart, this is like people doing projections on how many people could die. When you start to draw trend lines that go out into the future, you're trying to forecast price because you think if you knew where the price was going, you could make money. But it's not true because if you're in too big a position when the market is on this way to its final destination that you perceive to be this target, how are you going to survive that? You can't handle, especially during the corona volatility, as soon as the markets took out like monthly lows, most people's view of what fair price is, whether they're institutions or individuals. Of course, the individuals, in other words, you're seeing if these institutions, obviously they're panicking, right? They're just people trading. And even if they're not panicking, their clients are panicking and they're telling them, I want this trade done. Or they're getting a margin call and the market's forcing them out of the market. There's only so much money. Right? It's like liquidity issues too. If somebody with a lot of money decides to pull out of one instrument and go in another, he creates a ripple. And now there's a vacuum and there's nobody on the other side of that trade. This idea that the crude went to below zero. It's not a real price. It's the spread. It's the toilet paper missing. And you could have wrote this entry here on this euro dollar and said, well, I think at the end of the day, regardless of what the 5-minute, 1-minute traders did here, that if we could take this out, we have a chance of going into the high of the previous day and engulfing and closing and ending up with a, I suppose, fake breakout downside and engulf candle at the end of the day. But on the 15-minute chart, if you have a market order in your hand and you're babysitting the market, there's tons of money to make on this thing. You could trade pure at the market on this probably. If you could stay awake 24 hours, you can see all the glorious entries. But say you want to take a nap. So you could do both. You could say, I'm going to buy. You could set a price alarm. If we get below here, I'm buying. Let me know. But I'd say, if you think that's the entry, drop a ticket. So I don't know if we'll be able to make any headway into these sell limits. I'm up 60 cents, I suppose, here. So let me go to the other. So I just had the pound and the euro. Let me get rid of these So it's hard to watch both at the same time unless you have dual monitors. Okay, so they hit the target there. Right, I could have babysat this for that target hit. As soon as they went out and took out that high, I knew I had to get out, see? So we knew that was the exit. So we have a hammer on the 30-minute. If we bought that, we knew we had to get out here. I didn't wait. I just got out here. Sellers are coming in there at the 15. And then we come in with buy limits here now. So if I'm going to get this close to the market, this is going to last an hour. This is going to last 2 hours. All day. All day long. This is a great buy. Up 94 cents on the euro. So sold into this floor. So if this is a giant trade, this would be like, I'd be up 900 bucks if this was some monster. But it's not, it's just a 2K, I'm up 94 cents. So I think I'm going to scalp out of that. I just want to keep a flat account waiting for better trades. Or I could put a buy limit in here. Okay, so let's cash out. Since if I only traded one currency, I can just go here and get out. No, I can put in the a 4-hour buy limit. I'm going to start down here again. And then this is kind of risky. I'm just going to accept that we're probably going to get filled if I put that in for 4 hours. So this is better than the market because I would buy it if it dropped. At the end of 15 minutes, if it's down, the rule is you buy the market if you're a market trader that believes the market's going up. If it's down in 15 minutes, you buy. So here, and also if you're going to trade the market, you need a ticket that can handle. If the market's down 20 pips in 15 minutes, then you're going to buy with a 20 pip stop. So you have a stop here. If it's down, well, this is, I would say you might as well go with an hour because otherwise you're going to overtrade this. So if it's down, plus you're buying on limits below here, you knew that. So I wouldn't trade strictly at the, I would never just do market only or limit only because if you don't do a hybrid, then you're just not going to survive. Here's a 2-hour. I'm going to sell aggressively here for 2 hours. 12 bucks. Okay, 12 bucks. Let's risk 12 bucks for 2 hours. So very limited exposure. And if they can drive it down here in 2 hours, this is the best place to get it. It's a higher quality trade because the criteria is more narrow. So, right, just putting a 15-minute ticket, which I don't have any because it's just too much work to keep dropping a 15 because every 15 minutes it disappears. So we're flat, waiting for fill. And it's also just after 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is the best position to be in. Is nothing, waiting for Phil. This guy named Phil, he's supposed to show up. And to me, this is it. This is the ultimate kind of passive trading. Instead of waiting for a breakout, I'm waiting to get filled on a higher price to sells or above, buy below. So that's the approach, because this being a slave, I guess, the clock matters, right? If it's at the end of the day and it's up and you're going to come into Asia, How much of a pullback? So in a really strong market, if it's up 300 pips at the end of the day, it's probably got some follow through left. Although it could pull back 30 pips. Is that your trade? Did you gonna get a standard out and make $300? Trade a 50K. So whatever the size that you're trading, if you stick to 1Ks, you have more diversification in price entry. And that makes it more a stronger system. And if you have diversity in expiration, but I would say keep track of the daily drops because you have 24 hours of exposure. It's not like the end of the day they're gone. It's literally 24 hours. If you're going to run which I was running on the tablet, was double clicking 15-minute cells that are pretty dense, like a 10K that's 8 pips from 2 to 9 pips above you, every pip for 15 minutes. So right now I'd be getting filled on this rally. If you step away from the market and set your orders in really high for a short period of time, you probably won't get filled. So this balancing act of catching a falling knife or stopping a rising balloon here. And this, also, I know it doesn't seem like much, 2K, but I'm up 6 cents on that one. So it doesn't take much, but this is what get the party started. These might become worth about like $1. I have so much exposure to sell here. But I want to get in something. Because only if I make $2 here in 10 minutes, there's going to be times when the market's crashing into, and this is kind of like almost a demo trade, so this is a demo account, but if this is real money, it would feel like a demo trade because it's such a small amount of money. But it makes it so that you don't treat the equity any different. You're up in the trade. You're right about the trade. So here it's about, well, yeah, I made $1, but that was a good trade. And if this looks like it's pulling back for another lunge, also because I didn't sell up there, I actually picked the price. I didn't have to be here. I could have walked out of the room, come back. Oh, look, I'm up on this trade. Or I'm going to look at it on my phone. So what I do is I look at the phone to see if I'm getting filled. Or I look at the chart, and there's a different charting system on the phone because it's very strict. There is no manipulation. You can't fix the scale on that I know of. You're forced into the frame, and there's no pip grid on it. So you're forced to look at it in a raw sense. Whereas here, I can manipulate and look deep and go to the monthlies, and the phone is kind of like, wow, huh, that's the trade I'm in, like, or that's where my tickets are. They seems like, wow, these are going to be too close to the market. Because here I can stretch it out and think, well, yeah, what, really? We're going to go up like, we're going up here in 2 hours? Okay, if that's true, I definitely want to sell into that because it's just a good price on every time frame. 30-minute. Because it's just range trading it. I'm just range trading. Yeah, it could go up there. So now it's almost getting into some size here. And God knows what they're doing over here in the pound. I can't babysit all this shit. So hopefully these tickets are far enough away. And here I want to sell too. I just don't think that the market's ever going to go anywhere. Sure, it could go up, but is it going to blow out the high of yesterday? Those are real questions. Oh, you fell in this hole here. First, you got to get to this floor here on the half hour before you can even think about it. And there has been a scalp to that moment there, so that was it, right? That rocketing up move there. They cleared off this, so it's kind of a fractal situation. So this wedge here, right? You cleared that out. The sellers came in. They've already made their 20 pips on that trade. Look at that. It's amazing. Look at. You missed it. You were trading the euro. You could have made 20 pips. Sell there. You got a limit in, but you had to get out. You're not looking to make 500 pips on that move. Pretty tough. Pretty tough to trade all these pairs, you know. That's the, like I said, you'd have to do it like this. You got to have them up simultaneously, or you have multiple monitors. But to really drill down on each one and treat it, you know. So yeah, the dollar goes down. These guys will go up, but they're in different places in the landscape of their structure at the moment. Plus, you'd have to now you got to sync the time frames and all that. So, yeah, this has been going up where this is just trapped beneath the floor there. Well, we are looking for that to go up, and we're going to sell into that. So I'm just selling high. I don't really look at it like, oh well, let's look at the Ikamushu to see what that's trend trading. That's directional trading. I'm going to pick a direction. What the hell? Why bother? So it's very counterintuitive. It's very against normal stuff. Is it a good buy? Well, at the moment, maybe not. So why not just put an order down below you in case it goes down? Well, there's going to be buyers down there. That's just so funny about the Sam Seiden guy. All he had to do was trade it, but no, he's too fucking lazy. He's just going to talk about it. Okay. That's wonderful. But, dude, put the trade on. I don't want to. I'm just going to sell courses. I don't think that it's impossible for people to make money trading, but it's like a real job. Especially if you're going to babysit the 1 hour chart or the 15-minute chart. Here in the case, the half-hour chart. Because, you know, changing time frame. Oh, I go to the other time frame. Well, it's a different setup on the other time frame because the other time frame you'd still be holding. You wouldn't be scalping, maybe. If you're going to swing trade it. But you don't have to because all you had to do is, that's the 4 hour chart. So you knew that if it ever made it back to this on the 4 hour, that was the scalp. And if it ever made it back to the closing prices, you could have made that. If you're looking for this exit, maybe you're going to see it. But that's also the place I'm going to sell into on the 4 hour. People are going to say, double bottom, I bought that, I'm holding. Yeah, but is it not just up here? You don't think there's people selling like crazy up in here for that move back to here? The people that are going to make money on that, if that scenario happens. It doesn't mean every scenario is going to happen because you studied so hard and you... This is probably some Gartley bullshit entry here. I can already see that the people that think like that about the market, like, oh, well, if you get in there, then, you know, that's the better trade. Yeah, I suppose, right? I mean, this is probably some harmonic entry here. Well, it is from the standpoint of the way people trade that is you're looking for that lonely wick. You're going to buy here with a stop here. That is the Gartley. You're getting in this trap. The problem with the Gartley people is you got to go to the 1 hour to see the Gartley here. Or this is a Fibonacci pullback because this is 618 from the... Yeah, within 30 pips of punishment, it is. But don't be a fucking... Don't bullshit people to saying, well, I got this course and what it is you're not even trading it, man. Still, the guy, the White Oaks guy. What if you're making 200 grand a year? Why are you selling a course for $90 a month? What is it, to pay for your dog food? Why would you put up with people going, well, what happens if I guess, right? If you like, I don't get it. I like just bitching on the internet. So you don't have to pay me. I'm having, like they say, I'll pay to play on stage. I'll bring the gear, you know. I just like to play. Like to have fun. Why so serious? And that with the Joker comment, I just got filled in something. I got to go monitor it. Why are they so serious in the corona? Then lose the mask already. I still see people with the mask on. What the fuck happened to your brain? Okay, so we just picked up a chunk here. We're in like 9K. The wheels are turning. We're selling into this euro. What a glorious trade. 4 hour. So it is stampeding north. It's coming up in that supply zone again. So I got the 2 hours in there. Okay, I'm selling new highs. On the 1 hour, I'm selling all the way up. Okay, I'm at 1357. Let's see how much my equity fluctuates compared to the, well, maybe you're short or maybe you're long. Maybe you're finally you're coming back to the same equity that you were when the whole thing started and you're like, oh, finally, you know, God, this damn trend trading. I've been in this trade for 8 days. Like I'll never do it again. Did it 10 years ago on the Swiss franc. I go, well, I'm gonna trend trade. I'm gonna hold on to this, buy and hold. 1 week, I think I was in a standard lot. I think I made $10. Oh sure, I was up. I was up 500. I was down 500. Sure, that was there. So why do that? Why do that to yourself? I'm selling up into this thing. And some of these are dailies, so I'm about finished adding anything to this picture. It's a perfect picture of support and resistance. How could you not trade support and resistance? How could you deny that trade? Because I like a trend. I don't think you understand. I like to know where this is going. Where's this relationship going? I don't know. I think it's going to blow up your account. I suppose that's what people like to hold on to. Is, well, what is the trend? Are more people dying or less? Should we riot tonight or wait till tomorrow? Who are these people rioting? Are these the same people that took the toilet paper? This is dependent on your culture or what you consider to be. Now they do take toilet paper and they do put it in the trees during Devil's Night. This is the night before Halloween. Maybe people are stocking up for Devil's Night. I'm going to say, go out on a limb. Yeah. That's it. Nailed it. Okay, next question. Yeah, now this is kind of scary here. Got all these sell limits in here, but I'm willing to take the hit, man. I'm willing to take the dollar amount. I'll risk $800 today to make $800. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'm in 15K and waiting to get filled here. This should be quite the climax moment for the euro. I just don't know if we can take out that high from yesterday. It'd be amazing. We'll take a drawdown. You know, we're down a few bucks right now. We're down like, actually kind of down 6, so I'm going to go with the number on the right. I have to watch this carefully to see if we're getting stopped out of something. All right, so selling up into that. So this is a demo account. I'm selling on my real account into this also. I'm not going to sell this big. I get my orders. I don't even know what I'm risking here. This could be risking 5 standard lots. I'm probably selling 80K max on mine. So about 160K is about my max. So if I can make $300 an hour, $300 in a price pulse, I'm good with that. So if we could make in this account here, if I could make $600 today, or by 5 p.m. So I'll give this thing 12 hours. So on my account, 8 hours. I want to be in the trade for 8 hours. I want to trade the psychotic wicks that happen from London to US back to it's dead. Now, the other option is to go flat on the whole account, close all open and pendings at the end of the day, just before the spreads get bad. So at 4 p.m., when people are making decisions to get in based on some criteria because they think the trend's their friend or something, you could just go flat. So I'm down like $3 here. So I maintain that whole rally there. Now I look at it and say, if I can make $30 here, I'll probably get out. Make $30 a go flat. Okay. It's $30. I mean, extrapolate it out. It's like $200 an hour. So you can make those kind of claims. I make $200 an hour trading Forex. Yeah, okay, dude. You were in the fucking trade. You made $20 in 20 minutes. Well, it's like $60 an hour. Yeah, just keep doing that trade over and over again. And the day's not over. We could go rocketing down. Okay, I just cashed out of something. So the bad ratio is cashed out. High probability trade. Okay, so that's a load off my mind. I just took 2K off the table. Market's too squirrely and volatile, I think, to go in on any one single trade. And if you want to play it safe, you would just run 1 hour expirations and make it very hard to get filled on a giant rally. So if you have the scalps layered in and you have some giant swing trades and you have to be an all-purpose trader, this way, no matter what happens, if the volatility should ever get really crazy, then you can just drop a 1K 300 pips deep, and that's appropriate for market conditions like who's flying a kite when there's a hurricane? So when the markets are so insane that what you used to see was a setup, without the context of what the volatility is, saying that the market is, there's a signal or something, it's just harebrained money management. I mean, it's so dangerous because now you're saying, well, the Gartley works, so therefore, let's ignore the volatility of the setup. A double top of 300 pips is different than a double top of 30 pips on the 15 because that trade's going to be decided whether that really is a double top. That stuff will just happen, and you're going to know if you're running the 5 pip stops, which I think people are running 10 pip stops thinking they're saving money or something, when maybe you need a 100 pip stop and just reduce the size, because what you're thinking as far as these setups and these triangles and these Ikamushus, man, you gotta give it some room, and then you gotta figure, are you waiting fucking 3 weeks for a setup to pull the trigger? Okay, then you're a no nonsense guy. You've got money. You don't need to make money every day. You got money. You're sitting on a pile of money. You're living off your savings, or you're just living off your bank account. You're not actually earning. Yeah, you might hold that trade, and like this year, you're up maybe 500 grand. You don't have to trade anymore. I don't know. That's the other thing. What are people trying to do? Are they trying to make money quickly, or are they trying to invest and hold on to an asset? Like people are holding gold, they probably think, oh, this is going to be a great trade. Well, it could just be ranging, and you're fucked. Gold's already pulled off a 1750 last time I looked. Just look at the quotes. You can build a chart in your head. I mean, look at gold. Really, you didn't get out at 15. Okay, let's take a look at this trade. Okay, selling into the zero. I went to Trading View. I love watching Trading View. What people say in there. So Trading View's got a nice greatest hits. You got the dollar index and the S&P. They get a nice arrangement on this Android from just a quote tote board situation. Why don't I see the prices now? Strange. Well, I guess I have to click on it. Okay, gold is at 17. That's kind of weird. These apps really aren't that. I don't know. Android's got bugs in it, I suppose. Oh yeah, kind of hard to get the time frame going here on the. Okay, weekly gold. Yeah, you're kind of topping out. It's made a giant move. When you go to the monthly gold chart, which you can see here nice and you've been going up like, come on. Go to monthly gold and ask yourself, you gonna buy that? Holy shit. We're all the way back to the highs from 2011. There's no way I'm buying that. But I don't trade gold, and I don't see the point. I mean, it's a psychological thing of feeling good about being in something, of investing. You know, if that's the feeling you want, or that you're just trading, even if you're not making a lot of money trading, you like the idea that, well, at least I got my money working for me, so to speak. That's the idea. But you have to work the money if you're going to trade it. If you're investing, yeah, you're going to buy gold, sit back, you pulled the trigger 10 years ago, and you're just sitting there going, okay, I feel good. But it's not like you're shaving gold off that to put gas in your car. But if you're trading every day and you're trying to make X, and at the end of the week you're going to buy something, or at the end of the month you're going to pay your phone bill with your trading account, that's different, I suppose, than if you're going to just hold a trade for 3 months, because you're not going to cash out. You're going to draw on the account, maybe from your previous winnings. And day trading was something that I studied because I thought, well, I'm just going to be, market's open, let's trade it. I mean, the person that's trading smaller positions is making the same amount of money. They just have a lower frequency of trade. And they like that. They like investing, you know. I think it's more exciting, I guess, to day trade, because you're like, wow, look at this. You know, every day is an adventure. Hey, you're on the fucking daily charts. Look at this trade I'm in. I've been in this trade for 5 months. I'm up 500 pips. It's moved 100 pips a month. I'm up $58,000. I think I'm gonna cash out and go buy a motorcycle. Yeah, I guess that's the kind of view you get from these people that are in the Ferraris. That, of course, they make it look like they're scalping on their laptop, and they just made like 40 grand, which you could do that. It's not inconceivable, but maybe you don't do that with all your accounts. You have an account that you are a flipping account, right? Oh, let's do this. Let's do something crazy here. But that would go along with the kind of personality you are. I mean, all the trading's based around who you what you can tolerate psychologically. You know, saying that I'm selling into this thing, I'm getting killed, and this martingale thing is killing me. Yeah. Okay, I'm cashing out of something here, so maybe we'll be out of this trade. And maybe the market goes smashing down and gets in buy limits down there. You got 5 seconds before the bottom of the hour, so this is another situation where we're going to go to the half-hour chart to see what's going on there. Okay, so we made new highs, and we sold into the new highs on the half-hour. Wait for the pullback now. Also, instead of selling at the market, which you would have done here at the end of a half hour if you were a bear, it's taken care of. Now we just have to see how this turns out. Is it going to pull back? Right, so let's wait a minute here. Okay, I'm going to cash out everything right now. Looks like it's going back up, so I'm going to cash out of all my winning trades. Reduce my exposure margin-wise. I think we're going to go up again. So let me get out of most of this. I'm only in like a 7K now. I could also come in here and pluck these off. But that's about how I'm going to do it. I can't tell if I'm getting filled on the pound here. So this is a real bruiser of a currency, and I think my orders might have evaporated up there. I already cashed out, like I wasn't paying attention here. Okay, one basket of buy limits down here. I'm just going to leave that and put a really small ticket in. I'm going to go for this 2-hour entry. And then I'll sell up here. We're still short this one, but I think we're going to go up. So I want to sell in that 10 pip window. That's why I cashed out. So I am trading at the market in that sense, because I'm like, oh no, we're going to go up. Like, people bought this, and now we can take on more risk. I mean, this is quite the pounding. When you come into this window, okay, the scalpers grab that, and then once this thing, but here's the thing, I want to sell that, and then we'll sell very heavy all the way into the US Open. I'm going to put some more in right now. Looking at this, I'm going to put the 2 hours in here for the easy 20 pip winner. Some 4-hour drops. Let's do 4 hours in here too. Put these up higher. I want to get at least a couple standard lots going here. All right, let's get like 50K going. All right, let's see what happens there. This should be the better trade. Certainly going to be a bigger trade. It's 5 minutes after the bottom of the hour. They're coming in like gangbusters. I'm selling into this. Down about $30. I'm at $20 down. And 30K now. I'm just watching the euro. Could be getting filled on this pound. I don't know. Okay, 50K. Still holding. No stop outs. Okay. So, trying to make $50 here on 50K, so 10 pips. All right, we're down 20. Still plenty of time before the other markets open, so now we're looking for the pullback out of that. Sell high, buy back low. Okay, we gotta try to make at least $40 here. Okay, it's ripping back. It must have got filled on something. The pound. I just picked up some K. Oh, selling into this now too. All right, let's sell more into this. I'm just going to go all day on this one. If they ever come up there. 30 pips stops to make 20, so I would pay attention to the, if you're going to swing trade it, you have to endure the 40 pip situation. So I can take on a way more. I'm only down about $10 on the account right now. Selling into both of these as they go up. So the 4 hour, I'm literally selling into this top. Now I'm just going to go all in. Looks like a fantastic trade. Let's get a like 300K going on this thing. Set it and forget it trading there. I wouldn't change a thing. I don't think it's worth it to buy into this. I think there's way more money in selling into this highs. So down like $10. It's the best way to go. I can go take a nap now and come back and see how it's doing. Let's sit tight. We're at 13,050. All right, so we're up $200. We're almost out of all the margin. Market came up, we sold. Came down, we bought. Well, cashed out. Same with the pound. I'm going to have to take off these tickets though, because I think this is going to be too much. So I'm going to take off these top of the rack. I think we're going to crash here on the pound. Looks like we're just going to keep tanking, so I'm going to trim this stuff off. Okay, so we never made it up to there, but we made it to this 30-minute chart, made it to the floor. Looks like we're just going to dive into the numbers are coming out on unemployment, so I still want to buy down here. but not this close to the market, so we're on the abyss, ready to tank. If you go to the 4-hour chart, even the 1-hour chart, you see how just brutal this could be. Yeah, I don't think it's done tanking, so let's get these orders out of the way real quick. I'm going to start buying now below here pretty aggressively. So there's quite a bit in here to take off. Or I could open up the, I could look in the terminal to see price-wise top tickets, take those off. Kind of got till 8:30 when the news comes out. Let's see. I'm just gonna move this down. So I just go straight across. Okay, gotta be faster. Uh-oh. Oof. All right. That's not gonna work. Let's do it by price. That's too hard. Got a lot of tickets to go through there. Okay, to be the highest price in the buy element rack. Yeesh. Okay, almost there. Alright. So within 10 pips, it starts to light up. Okay. I wouldn't sell here, even though it's going down. Very slow broker. Okay, so this is the work part of trading, I suppose. Trim it back so we can just get filled in this plunge here, because then it'll be a psycho retrace. We can just make very quick, fast money. Okay, gotta get about 20 pips away here. Maybe just the top ticket. A little bit of early entry there. Yeah, so I think that's good. Now, let's come in super heavy. First, I'll put the bid ratios in here. Wait for the broker. I just can't believe there's nobody trading at this broker in the British pound at this time of morning. It says the server's connected, but not seeing any. Oh, it should be. I didn't overload it, so I don't know why it's not loading these tickets, but it's not. Well, maybe you have to get rid of the cells. I don't know why it's not letting me put these orders in. Oh, there they go. Just fucking retarded shit. I don't understand this fucking piece of shit broker. Hugh goes away. I'd never trade there. Look, the tickets won't even come in. dropping these fucking tickets. It's like, okay, we'll load up underneath here. So the wider stops and the higher targets are going to go deeper. Normally I can just keep doing this. I don't know. There was ticks coming in. I don't know why we couldn't do that trade. All right. Now go to the euro. And the euro looks like it can tank. So let's take off these tickets. Okay, I'm already in the pound a little bit. I got some sells left to get rid of. So we'll just close all profits. And that way. Okay, the rest is buys. And I'm in it. I'll let them stop me out. I don't care. Okay, now I'm really going to load up. I think we can come down here. Put some bad ratios in there. Alright. All day long we're going to buy down here. So it's not too... the higher targets. Here's 36 pips. So now the euro, that's pretty acceptable, 36 pips. All right. Okay, that's pretty heavy. Since it's every pip on that. Now, let's put in some wider. Let's go for the super wide stops in case we really come smashing down. So here's 40 pips to make. 60 pips. Big giant window. That's 20 pips zone. Here. Let's go a 10K in a 30 pip window. Okay, this is good. 42 pips. So that's going to buy 9K. So that's going to cover some area. I'm going to do the same thing here. 40 pips to make 40 pips. Alright, let's look at this. Take off these arrows. The pound, I mean, really this broker, you can't trade the pound here. I mean, you can't even put on a ticket. There's nobody's trading this broker. Okay. So this is like compressed buys closer together. All right. There. Mission accomplished. All right. Going back to sleep. We'll see what happens.